Wednesday, 11 o'clock. Hello and a warm welcome to DPT-TV. In past broadcasts, you have seen Eric Marx. At this point, today I have the pleasure and like to start directly with a quote from Astrid Lindgren. What the world of tomorrow will be like depends to a great extent on the imagination of those who are just now learning to read. And just as Astrid Lindgren certainly changed the world of many children with her books, today's children are changing the world of tomorrow. So a look at the children is a look at the future. Investing in children is investing in the future. And actively shaping a safe childhood is shaping a safe future. The main topic of the 27th German Prevention Congress, Children in the Focus of Prevention, could not be more future-oriented. In our section, Pictures Without Words, I now invite you to simply let the following pictures sink in for 10 seconds. Those who have followed the past DPT-TV broadcast know that Professor Dr. Gina Wollinger coordinated and co-authored the expert report on the main topic. And the nice thing is that, in addition to the renowned experts, she also let the children themselves have their say. And what they said, you can see them now. We talked to a group of dispute mediators in a primary school in Bochum and asked them how to resolve conflicts and what we can learn from children. Furthermore, we talked to reporters from the Kölner Stadtanzeiger, and we asked them what they would do for children if they had creative freedom. I heard that you are dispute mediators. What do you do there? You know, during break times, you try to lay disputes. When the children come to you and say, I have an argument, can you help me? Now there are new dispute mediators. Do you have any tips for them? Do you have any recommendations from them in order to become dispute mediators? Listen, giraffe language, and don't insult, don't push. And what is the giraffe language? Talk calmly, don't shout, don't scream, don't lash out. If they don't listen, they have to stay calm all the time. Do you have any tips for adults when parents argue? When parents argue, it's better not to do it in front of children because the children get scared. And so that the children don't misunderstand that the parents have now become enemies and you are really sad. This is very important. And so you are really sad if you see your parents arguing. They should never escalate. So they should also speak the giraffe language. And of course, they have to talk calmly with children and never hit. This is very important, most important thing. So this is something we should avoid in an argument. Maybe you can think about if you became a politician, so an important minister, or maybe then for 6 months you are maybe then a family minister or maybe a chancellor. What would you do for children? For example, when I ride my bike to school, I think we should give the children more safety and security. You know, sometimes it's dangerous. I would do it this way. I would involve children in federal elections, maybe not vote at the age of 14, but have their say. And, you know, maybe then, so maybe there will be more articles that should be written where children are asked, and the newspapers should not always be about adults, but rather about children. Yes, not always, talking about children, but about children. I was recently treated unkindly by an older man. How should I say that? Yes, he was not so kind to me. He shouted at me in a funny way because, in his opinion, I crossed the zebra crossing with my bicycle the wrong way. So you should be more considerate of children and not let your own opinion get loud when children do something wrong. No, you shouldn't be so loud at children. I have a lot of children in my class, that during the homeschooling pandemic and during the pandemic, they were at home. It was difficult for them because the parents do not know how to speak German and they need help at school. And they had no help at home. I don't think that's good because they should be helped, supported. In addition to the children's perspective, this year's report consists of 5 individual experts' reports, which we will present to you in the coming programs. The written version of the overall report can already be found on the website of the German Prevention Congress. And now, for this week's prevention news from Science, Research and Politics. Amnesty Report 2021. According to the Amnesty International reports, states in many parts of the world are increasingly violating and ignoring international standards and agreements on human rights. The Secretary General of Amnesty International in Germany says, the response of the international community to many conflicts hotspots around the world was again most insufficient or too hesitant last year. The reasons, he says, are often economic or power political interests. Kerstin Klaus is new abuse commissioner of the federal government. The federal government has appointed Kerstin Klaus as the new independent commissioner for child sexual abuse. On the occasion of her appointment, she stated, children can only be protected locally. Comprehensive protection concepts in schools and clubs are therefore just as important building blocks against abuses as binding standards in the qualification of professionals and the sensibilization of society. Lessons learned. Ethics Council offers orientation for future handling of pandemics. In a 160-page statement, the German Ethics Council reflected on the experience of the COVID-19 pandemic, named mistakes and shortcomings in management, and drew lessons from it. Recommendations and suggestions for improvement were presented for dealing with pandemics in the future. And finally, the good news for the soothing dose of optimism. Positive balance are the Documentation Center on Right-Wing Extremism. Baden-Württemberg has drawn a positive interim balance for the Documentation Center on Right-Wing Extremism, which was established in 2020 and outlined perspectives for the further development in the institution. The funding for the Documentation Center will be stabilized. In addition, a University Research Center on the topic will be established. And now Eric Marks gives an overview of the following lectures and practical impulses from this year's Congress program and informs about our new office for the English-speaking audience. This chart shows you the lectures and practical impulses of today's program. New from this program onwards is that we will simultaneously translation for one lecture, one practice impulse, and also a DPT Actuel into English between 11 a.m. and 11:10. We are very pleased to be able to make this 27th German Prevention Congress accessible to colleagues from all the world. Very warm welcome to all of you. And now I wish you insightful presentations and interesting exchange about them afterwards. See you next week at 11.